Hi, my name is Chris, and I like to draw pictures in my free time. So today I would like to show you a little bit of a demonstration about how to draw a cartoon picture on your tablet or iPad, and yeah, just some techniques about things that I will use to do while I'm drawing. One of the first things that I want to talk about is the tools. Obviously, you get software and you get styluses that you can use. For me, personally, I think the most important thing is that you draw, that you don't worry too much about the tools. For me, I had my tablet for quite a number of years and I never drew on it, and I was always looking for the next piece of software or the next piece of thing that I wanted to use, but I never settled on anything, and eventually I decided, well, I'm gonna just use a piece of software and get used to it and draw with it, and I made quite a lot of pictures that I only use my finger to draw. So yeah, the tools are not important. The important thing is that you use what you have to create something amazing. I'm going to talk about some styluses because obviously not everybody wants to use their fingers to draw pictures. So one of the styluses that I used was the Jot Classic. The Jot Classic has a fine tip that you can use to try and draw more precisely on your tablet. So it has a clear disc that you can see through, so it's easier to see where exactly you're placing your nib and where you're going to make the line on the piece of paper or on your tablet. Another stylus that I really like to use, I recently got this for myself, is the pencil made by 53. It is a pressure sensitive stylus, and it works with pencil by paper by 53 on the iPad, and it's a really nice stylus. It uses Bluetooth to add some pressure sensitivity and some extra features to your workflow and to drawing. So you can use, like I say, whatever you want. This is what I'm going to use in the tutorial, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay, so here we're just having a look at some of the applications that you can use. I use Procreate to draw more detailed pictures where I use layers. There's Sketchbook that you can use. Adobe Draw is quite good for doing vector art, but the one that I'm going to use today is called Paper by 53. What I really like about this app is it uses a traditional type of way of drawing. So it doesn't have layers, you only have a certain amount of tools, so you have to basically draw within the constraints that you have. But using that, it's really nice because you don't worry too much about spending hours and hours cleaning up and making every little detail, putting in every little detail like you would with a tool like Photoshop or where you're using layers and things like that. This is just to show you some of the pictures that I've done before. This is a little kitten. There's just a little guy staring at the earth. There's another one where I did a tiger. This one's a lion and a little girl. This one was for Moon Festival last year. This is a little cartoon squirrel that I did. I just want to make a comment, like most of these pictures that I did over here were done with my finger. I didn't use a stylus to draw them, so it's really not about the tools that you use, but it's about practicing your skills. This one is one that I did recently. This one I used the pencil. The pencil gives me a bit more control over certain things. So for example, if I use the pencil, if I draw, I just need to pair it here. If I draw, I can do regular lines, but if I tilt it, I can do some shading and things like that. Or I can use the pen tool, but if I put it on this side, I can do a thicker line. Also, it's got a little eraser at the back, so if I want to erase, I can just do that. So also the other thing is when this pencil is paired with the program, I can use my finger to do blending. So it helps me in certain ways. It gives me certain features that I won't have otherwise, but it's not an essential tool. It doesn't make me a better artist or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to do a basic like little teddy bear and how to draw it. So usually what I would do, I would start off using the pencil, and I would start out with an easy little round shape for the head. Okay, so just draw it like that. Then what I would do is I'd usually start with the nose, right there. Okay, and then we can add the body. Oops. Add the body, I'll add the legs. Maybe. And also the arms. Okay. Drawing cartoons is obviously it's open to interpretation. You can do things in different ways and it will give you different results. For example, if I should place the eyes close to each other, your character is going to look like this. If I should decide to draw the eyes further apart, your character is going to look different. So it's very much about trying different things and seeing what you like and what you don't like, and experimenting with what you're doing. Okay, so I'm actually going to erase this nose. I'm going to make it a little bit different, like this. So there's quite a big nose. I'm going to make the eyes nice and small. I usually add a bit of highlight to the eyes. Now I'm going to decide about the mouth. I'm most probably going to make a little smile on the teddy bear, and just add the ears. So for now, that's just a rough sketch of what I would do, and just to give me an indication as to if this is what I want to do and if this is what the character or the feel or the type of style, the pose that I want to use. I want to keep it quite simple, so I'm going to use this one. So now when I have my basic structure of the character laid down, I would go in and further refine it and work on it. So I would obviously clean up these lines. Just make it a bit cleaner because they're a bit messy at the moment. Okay. And yeah, obviously, like I say, you make mistakes as you go along, so that's fine. You can always just erase them and work on it. So I'm going to use a different tool just to show you that there are different tools and how I would use them. So I'm doing the inking now. I'm just adding a bit of a highlight to the nose. I'm going to do the eyes next. I'm not going to worry too much about like cleaning every little detail. That's one of the reasons why I like this program and like using this program, because it has a very strong because you don't have so much control, you don't worry about every little detail. It's still important to give your best work and do something that you feel is good, but you know, sometimes we should just work as we're going along and not worry too much about all of the small little details and getting everything perfect, because otherwise we never finish what we're doing. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the lines on the outside. Now I might add some extra details like little fur or hair. just to make the character more interesting. Just going over my line work and refining it. Okay. You can see even how adding a few little extra curves in to make the fur changes the way that the character looks overall. And that's very much, like I say, you have to play around with that and experiment and see what you like or what you don't like. So for example, when I look at the face at the moment, I'm fairly happy with it, but I would, for example, decide to draw some eyebrows. Sometimes I draw it, sometimes I don't. I'm just drawing it now because for me, I feel that there's too much of an open space between the eyes and the forehead, and I want to fill up that space. Okay, now I'm going to start doing the body. Paws, feet. I always just do a little circle. I might make smaller little circles as well, just for the pads on their feet. I do something like that, and the same here. Make a little circle, just clean up there. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to go on to the hands. Very simple shapes. Obviously I can make it into, let's make it that he is holding a little flower. So then, for example, I can make a little bit of an indent there to make it look more like a hand, like he's holding something. I'm going to put that in there and just clean it up over here. And clean it up over there as well. So very much depending on what you're doing, you're gonna have to try different things until you're happy with the end result. I'm drawing just a little rose that he's holding. And we'll just bring the stem over there and bring one little petal over there. It's quite a big rose. I think it's actually way too big, but we'll just keep it as it is. Okay, so now I'm just cleaning up a bit of the line work so that there's not too much in the way. Just clean it up a bit. Obviously, you can spend hours and hours doing this and making sure that it's absolutely perfect, and you're welcome to do that. But it's all about what you want the picture to be. So I'm just gonna, because this is a tutorial, I just want to show you real quick how I draw a picture. So I'm going to do some quick cleaning up, and then I'm going to get to I'll quickly do the line in the background. There we go. And then we can do the coloring. Let's just do a little brown bear. I'm going to clean up over here. This hair. Oops. Okay, so I'm just cleaning up last bit of the ears. There's a few lines that I like to remove as well. Okay, right, so now we can get around to coloring. So I'm just going to use a brown to color the bear. So this program is quite nice that it's got very nice watercolors. So I like to use that. Once again, you're going to make some mistakes. I'm going to go over some lines. That's not the end of the world. You can always clean that up later. One thing that I can tell you about using this application, Paper by 53, is if I should pick up my hand and I put my hand down again, or I put my stylus down again, it's going to apply a darker tone to the color. So if you don't have a stylus like I do, that's a bit of a problem. I did use the app for quite a long time without it, and I just found ways to, get around it, and I'm going to show you in a minute what happens. I'm just going to color like this so I get a nice even shading on the little teddy bear. I don't worry too much about going over the lines and things. I can always clean that up later. Obviously don't make too many mistakes because you can't. Let's get a nice even tone. Okay, there we go. So now if I go like this, you'll see that it makes a darker shade, and if I should do this again, it's going to make an even darker shade. So it's nice when you're coloring, but if you're coloring for a very long time and you make a mistake and you reapply it, then you're going to sit with that, and that's going to be a bit of a problem if you were looking for a nice even tone. Now what's nice using this stylus is when I use my finger, I can blend that together. If you don't have the stylus, you can't do that. But like I say, there's still ways that you can, work around it. Okay, so now what's nice is depending on how fast you go, you get different shadings. Like you can see there, if I go fast, it's very light, and if I focus on an area where the paint is and I work around it, it makes it more even. So once again, it's getting to know your program. Different programs or different apps are going to have different features. So the more you use just one program and get to know the features, you will be more comfortable with using them. Okay, so I'm going to start applying some shading, I guess. I'm going to do a second layer. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a different color. I'm going to use maybe some yellow, or actually I'm going to use this color. And I'm going to apply it over the previous color. And you can see it brings out a different shade, which is really quite nice when you're using it. So you get a nice consistent color all around for the teddy bear. Okay, right now I'm most probably going to make that the light comes from this side, so I'm going to take the first color that I used and I'm going to apply it again, this time just to try and show the highlights. So I would, for example, make this side darker. Okay, let's maybe do a little bit of a shadow over there. Like obviously, learning to, make the right shadows and things like that is something that you have to study. I'm also still learning. Something that I've seen a lot of artists do, and they're really good with it. So it's all about studying light and getting to know it better and how it reflects off surfaces. And yeah, it should be something that you have fun with, but it does help to add a certain amount of realism to your pictures. I mostly draw cartoons, so all of my work has got like thick outlines on the side so they don't look hyper realistic. Okay, so I did the basically the color of the bear. I did a little bit of shading. So now I'm going to start doing a little bit of cleanup, just to make sure that there's not too many pieces where the paint goes outside of the lines, just so that the picture looks more presentable. Obviously, sometimes there are certain styles where people will let the paint go over the line and it creates a nice effect, so you can play around with that if you want to. Okay, I'm going to clean up the rows over here, the petals. The reason why I need to clean it up, that's the nice thing about working with layers. If you're using a program like Photoshop or an app like Procreate or Sketchbook, you have layers and you can just color underneath the picture that you have, and you don't have this problem where you might be erasing some of your line work and things like that. So that's obviously nice. You get more tools, you have more control over your image, and that's great. I like doing that, but also I like the simplicity of this program, and that it's almost like naturally drawing on a piece of paper. If you make a mistake, you're either stuck with it, or you got to find a creative way to try and fix your mistake or your problem. So I'm just doing a little bit more of cleanup. The rows I can see is quite small, and so I can't fix every little thing in it, and that's most probably, it's going to show when I apply the color to the rows. You're going to see there's most probably going to be like a bit of brown still coming through from the other side, from the background. So okay, so just finishing up the final bit of cleanup around the ears. Okay, oops, smudge there, and again. Just doing the final bit of cleanup. Oh, I was probably going to make this a different color, so I usually would clean that up as well. I usually quite like this stage of the drawing where you're doing cleanup and you're adding details and you're just making the picture that you made make it look nicer, adding detail or adding effects or lighting that makes it nicer. So I'm actually going to clean this out as well, and just do the same here too. Okay, right, so now I'm gonna, let's make it pink. Let's use this as a pink for the ears of a little bear. There we go, and obviously because there's a bit of a shadow there, I'm going to blend it like that. And I'm going to do that all around, like on the feet, the same, and there as well. Okay, and also here on the other ear. Do a little bit of a shadow there. Okay, and let's do a little red nose for. Let's make it this red for our little teddy bear. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a highlight there. Smudge it around. Okay. Alright, and then I'm going to do this rose real quick. Now I actually erased quite a lot of it, so I might just go over with my inking tool just to get the shapes right after this. So use this red, bring out the color a little bit more. Okay, use some green. Okay, so this application comes with this set amount of colors that you can use, but if you want to make your own colors, or you can always blend them. So for example, if I use this yellow and I use this blue, I'm going to get a different color green, and I can use that to put that onto my picture, and then I can always just use this here and drag it there to get a new color here, should I want to use the color next time. Okay, so yeah, we're almost finished. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the eyes. Just add a little bit of color to it. Okay, and for this I'm just going to use some white to make the highlights in the eyes. Okay, and just going to go back down and just finish up the rose. Bring back some of the details I took away. Okay, and that's about it. There's your picture, and that's just a quick demo of how to draw a teddy bear using paper by 53. Like I said, you guys saw that I used certain tools and things like that, but the most important thing is use what you have, whether it's your finger or whatever, and just practice. Use the tools. If it's pencil and paper, use pencil and paper. Like, you can't draw unless you practice. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys have lots of fun and keep on creating. Thanks. All right. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. I hope that you learned something new. Obviously, anything that you are doing or drawing, it's practice, okay? It's whether you're using pencil and paper, or you're using an iPad and a stylus, or you're using your finger. It doesn't matter what you do, just keep on practicing and have fun. That's the most important thing. That's why I do it. I'm not a trained artist. I didn't go to art school or anything. I was sitting in class and just doodling pictures while my teacher was teaching, and then eventually I became a teacher and I couldn't draw pictures anymore because I was the one boring other kids. So yeah, thank you very much. Have lots of fun. And I'd also like to thank Elsaby from motherinthemaking.naturally.com for making this video. She's basically doing it so that you know, kids and parents can get exposure and see how they can simulate their kids using something like an iPad and some applications to be creative and how to draw and things like that. So I hope you guys had a great time, and I hope to see you maybe again soon. Take care.